Hey everyone, it's Luke here from LT Gaming and welcome back to you LT Gamers. Today I'm doing a quick review of 6 Ages 2 Lights Going Out. The game is essentially a standalone survival storybook combining interactive fiction and turn-based strategy. The world is ending and your small clan's survival depends on how you manage its relationship with the remaining gods and their followers. Of course, this translates into a narrative adventure, and what an adventure it is. The story is very well written, the lore is extremely deep, and that's one thing that's very good, but also something I struggled with as I was new to the series. There is so much to learn in this game, and at start it can be very overwhelming. As you all know, I play a lot of games with an established lore. Star Trek, I know who the characters are, I know roughly who everyone is. But jumping into a game as detailed as this with a backstory that I'd never seen before was definitely an interesting challenge. But after a couple of playthroughs, I started to become familiar with the various gods and the characters within the game. Now, in a story-rich game like this, where choices matter, it all rides upon how good the writing is, and I have to say it's exceptional. The scenarios in this game are so deep and so interesting. Most of them I had to read more than once to understand what impact my choices were going to have, and even then the outcome of my choices was often a surprise. What makes this game unique is you're not just going through a linear narrative adventure. At the same time, you're managing a clan and its survival, so your choices affect population growth, happiness, war, diplomacy. There are all these aspects to the game. And instead of being managed through a direct interface, these are all abstracted through the narrative. I found it really interesting. I've always been a gamer who's been able to use my imagination around games and flesh out things that are happening, and this is really my dream game in that aspect. It's so simple, yet so good, and extremely addictive. I love the way that the characters you put on your council are involved in different storylines, and you really get to know them. The game drags you in with its immersive backstory and great storytelling, and you feel like your tribe is fighting for survival. And trust me, in this game, you're often fighting for your survival. It's a tough game. If you have made it this far into the video, both me and Tom would really appreciate it if you drop a like, maybe add a comment, or subscribe if you're new here. Every little bit of interaction really helps to drive the channel. There is a lot going on in this game and a huge amount of detail. Unfortunately, the UI is very mediocre. It's often a struggle to work out what you need to do or what is happening, so it takes a lot of clicking around and exploration. So if you don't have the time to sit down and work out a new UI, then it's my one caveat for the game that's going to frustrate you. Moving on to graphics, and of course this is a narrative adventure, it's not going to be NBA 2023 or anything like that, so don't get carried away if you're one of those gamers, but it does have a beautiful art style, and it's very unique to the game. I'd go as far as to say that the artwork is actually beautiful and portrays some really dark situations to the player, but the world feels very unique. This is not like an artwork from any other type of fantasy game that you're playing, and I have to really praise them on this aspect. I found the art in this game to be a wonderful companion to a compelling storyline. As I touched upon in the intro to this game, a big part of it is knowing the lore and knowing the gods that your people worship and their specialities. When you understand this, you have a much better chance of success, so you have to delve into the lore. Many of the choices that you make and their outcomes are actually logical if you understand the lore and the gods. However, to a new player it can appear very random. The difficulty in this game is actually extremely high. It's like a Dark Souls narrative game, and you would never catch me playing Dark Souls because I don't like being frustrated with that. But I never felt that in this game. I just felt I had to keep my tribe alive, and it was a constant struggle. That gives a solid challenge to the player, which is unusual in narrative experiences. As a result, the game actually has very good replayability because the stories are so deep and intense that you're probably not going to remember all of the aspects or the choices that you made. Plus, you can also try new tactics with your tribe. You are able to conduct diplomacy, make trade routes, build altars and shrines to the gods, manage your magic, and also raid other tribes. There's a huge amount to do in this game. All of this under the pressure of survival and a constantly moving narrative. 6 Ages 2 Lights Going Out took me by surprise. It's an extremely strong title, a game that draws you into its lore, and one that kept me coming back night after night to try different things. I was invested in the survival of my tribe and the compelling storytelling. However, the UI is definitely a weakness, and if you're not prepared to learn a new lore and take your time with this game, it may not be for you. However, if you're willing to look past these flaws, the game is a strong recommendation. So there we go, LT Gamers, another great title on the channel. Do like, comment and subscribe because we really need to drive our interaction. As always, I've been Luke from LT Gaming, and I'll catch you on the next one.